as we look into the issues of meditation. I started off by teaching us on rainbow meditation, warfare meditation. We now came into the aspects of meditation for longevity. And I showed you a technique of how you breathe in, you hold your breath, you push in the stomach muscles, and then you touch on that wandering nerve. Today, I'm going to teach you another. But before I do that, remember I said that what I'm talking about, I received it in encounters with Jesus and also by research medically. So I spoke to you about sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves and the entire nervous system. I was explaining those things to you last week. Now somebody says, Pastor Obed, when I breathe in and I hold my breath, he said I should be able to do this in 20 seconds, 20 seconds, 20 seconds. That will make it 1 minute. I find it very difficult when I'm holding my breath that way. Today I want to show you a technique. In the book of Psalm 137, the verse 6, Job 29, the verse 10, Ezekiel 3, the verse 26, hear this. If I do not remember thee, read on.
Let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth.
Hold on. Let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy. Next verse of scripture.
Job 29:10.
Yes.
Even the most important men keep silent.
Even the most important men kept silent. Even the most important men kept silent. Now, that's Job 29, the verse number 10. As we read it in the Good News translation, I want us to read it in the King James. We'll read it in the Good News, and then I'll share something with you.
From the King James.
Yes.
The nobles held their peace.
The nobles held their peace.
And their tongue cleaved to the roof of their mouth.
And their tongue cleaved to the roof of their mouth. Read that in the Good News. It says, even
the most important men kept silent.
The most important men kept silent. Now, what does this mean? It simply means the cleaving of the tongue to the roof of your mouth is the practical way, biblically, by which men can keep silence and be silent. Let's go over it again. King James, Good News.
I read the King James.
Yes.
The nobles held their peace.
The nobles held their peace.
And their tongue.
And their tongue
cleaved
to
the roof
of their mouth.
Then Good News.
Good News says,
even the most
important men
kept
silent. For the tongue to cleave to the roof of your mouth is a technique of meditation which keeps silence. The book of Ezekiel.
Ezekiel 3:26.
Yes.
And I will make thy tongue.
God now says, I will make you silent. How will he do that?
I'll make thy tongue.
I will make your tongue
Cleave to the roof
God
of thy mouth.
is talking to the prophet. Hear this. And God says,
I will make thy tongue cleave to the roof of thy mouth.
and what will happen?
That thou shalt be dumb.
Hold on. When a person is dumb, it means that person cannot talk. So in meditation, what are we doing? We don't want to use the organ of speech. We don't want to use the sense of speech. I will make your tongue cleave to the roof of your mouth, that thou shalt be dumb and shalt not be to them a reprover, for they are a rebellious house. Now, so what is God saying? Ezekiel 3:26, Good News Translation. King James says, I will make your tongue cleave. Now hear what he says.
I will paralyze your tongue so that you won't be able to warn these rebellious people.
I will paralyze your tongue so that you won't be able to warn these rebellious people. At another time, I'll be talking about tongue paralysis. What exactly happens? And please, you should meet me on Sunsum probably in 2 weeks' time when I deal with sleep paralysis and why certain people are unable to mention Jesus when they are sleeping. That'll be for another time. But we're dealing with meditation. Do you know that, hear this, if you are able to hold your breath for just 5 seconds, the moment you know this meditation technique, you would go 10 to 15 seconds, and it is far easier. I showed you how to void thoughts from coming in and keeping a thought in mind. Now, to stop your mind from wandering, you breathe in, you push in your stomach muscles, you keep it there. Then people that I was talking with afterwards say, Pastor, it's easy. Pastor,
it's not easy. I felt like I was going to die.
I say,
it's like all my breath had left me. Do not be perturbed.
I'm showing you another. The
tongue in your mouth.
Butu.
You roll it over. Backwards.
Na enkoka wenum soro.
And then cleave it to the roof of your mouth. When you take in that deep breath,
na ekosia.
When you feel that it has reached its maximum,
na ham wefua.
And then you push your belly in.
Butu techremane na hwade.
So roll your tongue over backwards and then cleave it to the roof of your mouth.
Na nsane ebeye no.
Before we go on to that, I just want you to observe the difference.
Quick one.
This is just a quick one. Let's practice it quickly. Taking a deep breath. Do not cleave the tongue to your mouth. When you take in that deep breath, push your belly in like I taught you last week. And then make sure you keep it in. Seize the breath at that point.
Kakra. Me can say breathe out. No way breathe out.
So you hold on to that breath for as long as you can, and on my instruction to breathe out, you release it slowly. This is what I want us to do. I'm going to time this practice. Now, taking a deep breath. Now. Push your belly in and hold it in. So I'm going to count.
Bako.
1.
I am on fa read ano emeto screen so emami. Time ano monfa to screen so emami. Moya ntem mesremo. Mienu.
2.
Miensa.
3.
Enai.
4.
Enum.
5.
Jemwe.
Release the breath.
Where Jem? Where your normal breathing?
This is a normal breathing in and breathing out process.
Afedian.
Now,
Humiko umubium.
Take in that deep breath again. Very deep breath.
Permanency.
They take in a very deep breath.
1, 2, 3, go.
We go.
Hamwefu.
Hold your belly in.
Fatechremanu konechi.
Now roll your
Dani
tongue
techremanu.
backwards.
Maninka palate no. Wenum palate no maninka.
And I'll cleave it to the roof of your mouth or your palate.
Ka wanusi so tisenia umia techremanu.
And now, close it firmly, like you're applying pressure on that rolled over tongue.
After the difference no.
Now, observe the difference.
Obahu say, ase unya hwe.
You will realize that it comes with so much ease.
Ah. Na nya mia na me home ko mi mu ana me te so ana me brei.
You're wondering that, are you the same person who was suffering when you were initially trying to
Masheda na me kasa se na be ya obehunu. Woko pa uhunu kra oko Jemwe.
It's that easy. You can hold the breath for a longer period of time. Now you can release the breath.
Jem.
Release it.
Eugene Nadia to say.
Easier than last week.
Easier than last week.
Easier.
Last week there na utim free.
That's a cup marathon there. But it's far easier.
It's far easier.
It's far easier.
Let's try it again. Into yere.
We're doing it again.
Yere say bet me for 15 seconds.
Okay, so we are going to try to hold our breath for 15 seconds.
We are
doing it together.
15 seconds.
We are going for 15 seconds.
Ye home baako mienu manisia. Ye bebutu techremana konechi.
This is the procedure. We are going to take in a deep breath, roll our tongue over backwards, cleave it to the roof of our mouth, and sustain the breath.
Na ekonechi ani emia yenum.
When we cleave the tongue to the roof of our mouth, we are going to apply pressure on the tongue.
Na afidi ahwe emre dodo ebetimi akọ.
And then see how long we can sustain that breath within.
This is how to keep silent according to scripture. Baako mienu
1,
miensa
2,
ko
3, go.
Jim.
Release it.
When him say, hey. And then you are saying, why a day? Yanko binka. Oh, nipa. Oh, yeah, and was Yanko binka.
Mr. He is requesting that we go further.
And so say, when you call 25.
Yeah, 25 seconds.
It's not, sir, 20 seconds, and I make an easy.
It's become easy.
To make me 20. No Jim, no 20, no Jim, no answer 20, no Jim, when you 1 minute. And on the first practice, now
this is how easy it has become. You compare it with taking in the breath without the tongue exercise. You realize how easy it is to have sustained your breath for 20 seconds plus. So it becomes this easy. You could do it one, sustain your breath for 20 seconds, do it another, and do it another. Within a minute, you would have held your breath for 20 plus seconds thrice. I'm going to teach you a technique that will make it easier.
See, as you see, I flood I can 5 minutes.
My floor director says we have 5 minutes more. The assembly.
May you see. Floor director, the assembly.
But one day, let's show the floor director.
One day, the floor director. Okay, we just want to, whether you can go far or not, I just want to show you, just do 20 to 25 seconds and pause. 20 to 25 seconds and pause. So we roll tongue and what press it. Now
let's take this process over again. It's this simple. You first take in the deep breath. Make sure that you get to the maximum level of breathing in. Then you roll your tongue backwards, cleave it to the roof of your mouth, apply pressure with your lips so that it is firm, and then sustain your breath for as long as you can. When I give the command to release, you release the breath. So we are starting.
We're just going 20 seconds. Let's see how easy it is. 1, 2, 3, breathe. It's far easier than last week. And my studio audience saying yes.
We even went
more than that. I think we went about 40 seconds or something. Close to that. So we've even doubled it. So you see, cleaving the tongue to the roof of your mouth is stipulated in the scriptures as a definition of silence.
But this thing has been in this our Bible all this while.